Ready to go.
Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're working on this little lawnmower that sat for the winter, and now she doesn't want to start. And let's take a look at the gas in it. And this is what your gas looks like after sitting all winter. That's sort of kind of gas, but not really. Now, if you want to get rid of this much gas, it's just a little bitty bit. It's only about 4 ounces of gas. Put it in your car. I put it in my little Honda all the time. Been doing it for years now. Hadn't heard a thing. Air filter looks pretty good on this, so you can see somebody made an effort to take care of it anyway. So we're using our little 5/16. You're going to need a 5/16 and a 3/8 above and beyond the cutters and whatnot to take this apart. Now we're going to put our screws on a magnet so we don't lose them. And also, when you're putting it back together, you'll know you didn't miss anything because you'll be out of screws. Okay, carburetor on this. It looks okay. Doesn't look outstanding, but it looks okay. Choke's sticking just a little bit, but we can take care of that pretty easily. Just banging it around it would work fine. So now we're going to switch off to our 3/8 bit and pull the carburetor off. As you can see, you're not going to want to try to get a wrench in here. It's going to be virtually impossible. Let's put the cap on so we don't lose anything along the way. There we go. We'll move our magnet over here to keep it out of the way. Okay, now we're going to pull the top off so we can get to the clutch. I'm sorry, the choke. And it's just 2 screws. These are probably the screws that are missing the most when I do these. And I noticed the back of this wasn't tabbed in correctly, so somebody's had this off recently. And now we'll use our quarter drive to remove the choke mechanism. See, I'm looking at the spring. You can see it's bent up kind of funny, and it tells you somebody's definitely been playing with it. Okay, let's grab some pliers and some cutters and get our tools out of the way. Okay, now give ourselves a little room to work, because this can be messy sometimes. We're going to pull the fuel line off. So what we'll do here is, since we know we've drained most of the gas out, we're going to carefully cut it and keep it above gas level. And that's the gas that's not going to be on our floor. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is throw a new fuel line on, and we're going to measure off the old one. To get it pretty much the same size. Now this is still dripping just a little bit, so we're going to do this as fast as we can. Try to minimize the amount we pour on the deck. There's one. And that's that. We've got a new fuel line. And since this came off a roll, the curve will hold it up. Let's take our carburetor over, and let's clean the jets and get the carburetor cleaned up just a little. Now, as a lot of you know, this Quantum engine is my favoritist. If I have to pick the engine that I like more than any of them, this is it. So pull that off. Let's pull the bowl apart. And on this particular engine, and any engine that's got this brass-looking bolt, the bolt is the jet. So when you get it off, this is what you clean up when you say you're cleaning the jets. Now, if you've got a Honda or a Predator or one of those types, then you'd put a flathead screwdriver in here to clean the jet. So what we're going to do is we're going to carefully pull the ball off. And you're running a wire through to this little brass thing that sticks up in the middle of the carburetor. And your wire should go all the way through, and you should be able to see it stick out the top. If we had enough light, Let's see if we can show that. If you look down there in the middle of the carburetor, you can see that wire sticking through. Okay, and now the jet itself. We're going to find the little holes on the side. And depending on your horsepower, you could have holes on one side or on both sides. And we're going to go through the middle and run the wire down the middle. It's fighting us a little bit going down the middle, but it did go. And now we're going to go through the sides again. That way anything that was in the middle gets pushed out. You notice we haven't spent any money on this to speak of yet. The only thing that we put on that's new is the ball gasket itself. So this is a pretty cheap little fix usually. And we could have technically done this without taking the bowl off, but it's difficult to get down the middle. And I wanted it to be pretty obvious what we were doing. Okay, got our little gasket back on. Screw that back together and off we go, back to the mower. And we're going to go reverse of the way we took it apart. There you go. We'll put you on first. And that's our throttle linkage. On this particular one, the fuel line will prevent you from twisting the carburetor enough to put the throttle linkage on. Now he's lined it up. Let me grab the screws and we're done. We're going to go back to the 3/8. And grab our 2 screws. And if you do this with a screw gun, don't do it with one unless you're very familiar with it. Notice this one, I can turn it very slowly because I've been using it for a long, long time. And if you're super familiar with yours and you use it a lot, more power to you. And that's it. Let's put the choke on, make sure she's not hanging up. We'll replace the spring if necessary. Okay, that's started. Okay, everything looks good. Now, if this sticks like this, it'll still run fine, but it'll be hard to start. If it sticks like this, it'll be easy to start, but it won't run well because it's closing off the choke butterfly. Let's put the top back on, put the covers back on, we're done. Okay, now for my favorite part, the first pull. I've got the sound deadening off so that you can hear what she actually sounds like. So, crossing my fingers. Sounds pretty good. Nice and smooth. And the wheels we worked on a different video, they sound good too. Now, when you're cutting your yard, the thing you'll hate the worst is a mower that's hard to start. And cleaning the jets up, that'll fix it every time. It'll make it start just like that every single time. So, all you new people out there, if you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. It's free and it's what we work for. So, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.